not waiting on, but to play that complete game. And I think tonight, the one thing I could say is all three phases of the game, we played a complete game. I'm always going to complain about something, the late scores, but the reality is I challenged these guys. We challenged these guys. Obviously, early in the week, we challenged them again at halftime, and everything that we challenged them to, they stepped up and performed. From the guys up front, most importantly, about trying to make this a really physical football game. I thought on both sides of the ball up front, they did a phenomenal job at just making sure their presence was felt. Obviously, you got to go back and watch to see stats and all those different things, but I really felt like the presence of our offensive line and defensive line was a big difference. Not to mention, obviously senior night is really, really emotional. I told the guys as I finished up with them in the locker room, I wasn't going to talk too much because in pregame, give a little something before we leave the hotel, and I kind of caught eyes with Kobe Bryant, which I don't normally ever do, and especially on a day like that, and I completely lost my train of thought. I can feel the emotions and things just kind of hit you about all that they've done, and so even up there in the locker room afterwards, said that this isn't over. I don't appreciate what those guys have meant to the entire program, and to all those guys in that locker room. And it's really hard. Some of you guys have been here for a long time, probably have a good idea of what it is that we mean about what the struggles we had in the first year or so. And so it was an incredible night for those guys to be able to go out there, have that little emotion with their families and things, and then walk back up and 17 minutes later come out and do what they did tonight. So, and obviously that's a credit to them, but also I want to give a credit to those fans and that atmosphere, because it makes it a hell of a lot easier to focus in and lock in after an emotional kind of senior day when you walk back out there and see the crowd the way it is, that student section the way it is, and the energy that is flowing through that stadium. It was all felt tonight. Any questions?
Luke, speaking of the seniors, how does it feel if those guys believed in your mission and what you were about to do here?
How is it?
He's mad. Makes me sound like a robber. The senior class, them believing in your mission and believing that you were going to be this team, this program turned around.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about it is younger guys. When those guys walked in, we walked in the door, we talked about blind faith. That was believing in something you couldn't see, and those guys did. Even after year one, they had to believe in something they still couldn't see. You couldn't see the fruits of any labor, and now it's not quite the same thing. It's not as much blind faith for some of these young guys, but to really have those guys still in there, be able to look them in the eyes, especially after a game like that, a night like that, an emotional, senior night. I don't reflect a whole lot, but I know my wife will make me try to reflect a little bit tonight on. There's too many of them to reflect on every single one, but as a group, all that they've done.
You started defensively, 6 3-and-outs. They had the one drive that wasn't a 3-and-out, but you got a fumble. Was that as good defensively as you guys played all year?
I do think so. I mean, for a team that was coming in and rolling. I mean, had been throwing the ball well, had run the ball a lot better. I thought that was the balance that they had taken the next step as an offense. And those guys went out there challenged, based on the end of the game last week, and they accepted the challenge. But I was probably as proud of anything as the way they came out in the second half, because we had some pretty good starts at times, and then just kind of fell off at times. But those guys didn't. They knew what it was about, and they know where they want to go.
You haven't used the phrase style points, but do you feel like there was some kind of message sent with the performance tonight?
I don't know. I'd like to have 0 on that end of that one, but you know what? I think all in all, my big thing is it's always about, is it a complementary football team? Is it a team that can play in all three phases of the game? Because in order to be great, you got it. I mean, the days of the Coach Saban Alabama team where it's going to give up 3 points or 6 points or something like that, those are few and far between anymore. So the ability for you to be able to score points, move the football, control the clock as much as you can, as well as play really, really good, aggressive defense is the only way to have a chance, not just win a championship, but to get yourself in position to play late in the season.
As a follow-up to that, did you feel a sense of urgency from the players and from the team to put together a more complete performance for a full
Well, obviously that's been my mission. That's kind of been my drive the last 3 or 4 weeks, and beating myself up about it. And I don't know. I tried to say to him afterwards, I don't know what the difference was. Sometimes the opponent, sometimes just understanding and recognizing the challenges that are ahead of you. Every game is a challenge, but I think that there was a little something different. I think coming into this one, not just that they were 8-2, and the way they had played all year and the things that they had done. But I did sense a little more of a sense of urgency, a little bit more of that energy, and I mean that not just on Saturday, but I mean that in the entire week. I don't know that's what you want every week, but we're always striving to try to find those ways to get those guys to really kind of hone in and lock in on the things that we're continuing to preach. But it's not the easiest thing in the world.
Do you have a sense that might have happened because of all the discussion outside surrounding the program and being tired of hearing about that?
Well, I don't know. I think that if they were tired of hearing about it, they may have done that a week or 2 ago too. I think it's a combination of things. That the challenge that was ahead of them, I think, was a big deal. And you can't sell short what senior day means. Not just the seniors played great, but there's a lot of guys that weren't seniors that played really, really well tonight. Not because anything more than they knew what it meant to those guys. And if they weren't here and didn't understand what it was like as these guys built this thing, they heard about it a lot this week, and I think that maybe is something that grabbed their attention a little bit more.
Des was able to have a little special moment there. Not only did he throw for 3 scores and run for another, but he had a chance to catch it one as well. So
little unique. I know. I'm not sure I was glad they didn't tell me that they were running that one. I'm not sure I would have been all good with it, but I guess he owes Lenny or whoever that was that false started on the inside the 1 yard line that opportunity. But it's great. It's Jordan Jones throws him, another senior throws him a ball, and it's just if not anything, it shows the complete player athlete that Desmond Ridder really is.
Speaking of gadget plays, what were your thoughts on Lenny running?
Lenny's jet sweep, I saw that on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
You asked me about that on Tuesday. I said, I don't know if that's really going to make the end of the script there, but it was good. Lenny deserves it, and he's battled through, a lot of different things, being beat up a little bit and things like that, and it's nothing greater than on senior night. A guy that's meant so much to us to not just get catches like that, but have his actual number truly called. I hope that means a lot to him.
I know you wanted to shut out, but that's a really good offense over there, and your defense showed up and played really well. Just your thoughts on that unit?
They did a great job, and they, like I said, they were challenged, but their ability to stay locked in, to stay focused, is something that I don't know that we've done as good a job of all year. And by nature that happens sometimes, especially when you're kind of rolling the way you are. But they did a great job today, in all phases. I mean, stopping the run, stopping the pass. I know there's some things that happen late, but that's a really good offense. And I think it starts up front. Those guys up front, the seniors, the Majay Sanders, the Curtis Brooks, the Marcus Browns, Jabari Taylors. I mean, they did a phenomenal job. We were missing Malik Vann tonight, but those guys took a challenge, and I think that starts up there with those guys.
You mentioned that there were so many seniors. How do you handle pre-post game? Does Des or does someone get a chance to address the team, or with too many, is that not?
It's too many, and like I said, it's hard when things start to get emotional. So we brought up one of our favorites, in Ryan Royer, as he kind of addressed the crew, fired him up a little bit there, and then said, "We'll see you tomorrow as we've got another challenge ahead of us."
Any chance you're gonna go home and pull for a former member of the 2018 class tonight?
I live under a rock. I don't.
Utah.
Oh, no, I don't know much about that one, so I'm not sure who they play exactly. But,
Oregon.
Okay. Well, I root for all the guys that we have had a part of our program, whether they're here or they're not here
We'll
anymore.
do you a big favor tonight.
Luke, that whole notion of getting a team to peak at the right moment, you talked about how difficult it is. What have you learned about getting that done over the course of these last few years? Anything?
I mean, we preach about it. We said that from the time we walked in about you got to play your best ball at the end of the year. And the way you do that is have incredible consistency in what you do. Keep incredible energy, and a positive vibe to what it is that you're doing, and then take care of yourself. that's mentally, physically, and emotionally, and it's not easy. And in the last couple of weeks, I wasn't sure where we were and how I was doing with it. But you throw it onto these guys' plates, and I think they really kind of recognize what it is they need to do and what we need to do to win a championship. And I think first and foremost, it doesn't go any further than that. You know, this was right here to give us an opportunity to make sure that we have a chance to win a championship. If we wouldn't take care of business tonight, then we would still be out there not knowing if we have a chance to play for a championship. But I think those things all kind of come together with a mature group that they recognize and they sense the challenge that was ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You knew